Okay, this video we're going to take a look at the action menu. Well, we already looked at it a little bit. This is the menu that we get when we hit the space bar like this, or the one that shows up under here. It's the same contents. And as I mentioned before, the contents of this menu, the actions that we get when we choose something here, is actually executing a script, the same kind of script that we have in the script log, and the same kind of script that we can write ourselves in the script panel, is the same script that gets called in here. So in this video we're going to take a look at how you can put your own menu options in this menu if you get a script that you like and you want to reuse it again. And it's fairly easy. At the moment it requires a little bit of manual fiddling around with files. You have to set up some files on disk to get things in the right place. Hopefully in future we can have a dialogue under the options or something like that to make this a little bit easier, but it's quite a useful feature. So for now I will just explain how it can be done manually using a simple example. So let me just make this a little bit smaller, and in here, if you look in the folder that the RUBE download comes in, you will see a folder called action menu. Sorry, before we do that, you'll be looking in a folder called config. So in the same folder that the RUBE executable runs from, there'll be a folder called config, and in there should be a folder called action menu, and in there we will find these two folders here, default and my scripts with a hyphen on the end. So default, if we look in here, we can see a whole bunch of small files here. They're not very big, and we have things like add body at cursor, add body at cursor circle, and these here are the things that we are running when we choose one of these options here, add body at cursor, add body at cursor circle. So that's these ones here, and we can see if we look in here that they're just a little bit of text, and this is what's being executed when we call this menu here. So if you make a script of your own that you like, you can do the same thing. So I'll just close that, and back in this action menu folder here. So it's a good idea to leave this default folder alone, because this will be the scripts that are set up by default in the RUBE program, and if you download the program again, or if you download a newer version of the program, this folder will be overwritten ideally. I mean, you can prevent that, I guess, but when a new version of the program is released, you can expect, or you should expect, that some things in this folder will be overwritten. So rather than touching that, you should make your own folder beside this one, and there should be one also in the download when you get it, called my scripts hyphen. And what the hyphen does is it just makes this folder ignored. So at the moment, let's see what we have in our action menu. We have add, select, construct, fixture, vertex, joint. Now if I, over here, if I rename this by removing the hyphen, now if we look in our action menu again, we see an extra option at the bottom, my scripts. So what that is doing is it's looking in the my scripts folder, as we will do now, and we have two files in here. This one here, script, is, if we look in there, that's the actual script that will run, and this is just a sort of a template to make it easier for you to get started. So this just prints out this is script 1. And this layout JSON, we will have a look at that. This is just a small piece of JSON that defines how the menu should be structured. So you can see the details on this in the help. There should be a page explaining what all these options mean. But for now in this video we're just going to change the one that's here. So just to briefly go over these, we can say that, well, we'll just look at the top level here because that's what we have here in this at the leaf of this tree. So we have an action and the name is script 1. This is the text that will appear in this menu like that, script 1. File is script 1, and that is this file here on disk that should be executed when we select this action from the menu. Disk, this is the description, and this is what will be shown in these tooltips when we have something like this. In this case it says undo fixture selection deselection. So when we run this script and then we look in this menu, it will say undo script 1 in this case, because that's what we've given the description as. And then optionally we can have other things like this here, where we've specified a minimum number of fixtures that should be selected before this script should be allowed to run. So that's why when we look at this in our menu at the moment it's grayed out. But if we go into fixtures mode and say select this fixture, now the menu will be available, and if we just open the script log here and we run this, we will see this is script 1. It just, all it does is print out the text that we had in our script log. So just as an example of how we can make something a little bit more interesting out of that, here's one I prepared earlier. I think, is it there? Yes, it's there. So this is a script which I've found to be quite useful, and I'm not going to go into the details of how all these functions and things work here in this video, but suffice to say, just very briefly, we query the user for a numeric value, and that is going to be the number of times that we want to replicate this fixture and make it rotate around the cursor. So if we give it 10, we will replicate 10 fixtures around the cursor in a radial pattern like that. So I guess we could just run that to see what I mean. Would be simple. Okay, so let's see. I hit F5 to run my script. The default value is 12. I'll just leave it at that. So now the script has replicated the fixture that I had selected like that to be 12. Well, it makes 11, I guess. And I can undo and redo the scripts just fine. If I had different fixtures selected, let's say I select this ground fixture and I run my script again, and this time I say 4. Okay, now I've replicated 4 fixtures around, rotated around the cursor like that. So this is quite a handy little thing to have. So I might want to have this available all the time rather than just having it in this live script, which I quite often want to, you know, delete and write something else to quickly do a live script. So what I can do is I can take this and I will copy that and I'll bring it over here and I will create a new document and I will call this Radial copy or something like that, RS, and you should give this an RS extension. And then I will bring this into my text editor and paste my text in there and save it. And then I will come into my layout JSON and I can add a second, I need to put a comma here, so I can add another menu item in here like this, or I could just overwrite the one that I had. and I'm going to call this radial copy, radial duplicate or something like that. Radial copy will do. The file is radial copy, and we just leave the RS extension off there. And for description, I will call this again radial copy. And actually, this minimum fixtures is a good requirement to leave there, so I'm going to leave that. When you write a script, you should, of course, do clever things like checking if there are any selected fixtures and so on. So this layout JSON and everything that we've changed, as soon as we come back into the editor and we try and look at the action menu again, it's going to check all those files on disk to see if anything's changed. So you don't need to do any reloading or refreshing or anything like that. As soon as we come back in here and I push space, come down to my scripts menu, we'll see the extra radial copy option that I've put in here. So if I click that to run it, we're right back to how we were before when we pushed F5 to run the live script. So let's do, say, 8. Run. Okay, so now we've replicated the ground piece 8 times, or we can replicate this one, and we have this all in our menu ready to go. Replicate this 9 times maybe, and there we have 9 A's all radially rotated. And this is great because we're interacting with the script is there, but it's not fixed in what it's going to deal with, because the script does this get selected fixtures here, and it also does different things depending on what where the cursor is. So let's say the cursor was actually let's say the cursor was down here. Now if we do the radial copy, and we'll radial copy 7 times, say. So now we can, the script is going to be giving us something different depending on what we have selected and where the cursor is. So just to show off a little bit more, we could put this cursor here, select all of those fixtures except for that one, run it again, radial copy, and we'll make 5 like that. So now we have a whole bunch of fixtures there, and these are of course all Box2D. Oh, they're all on one body, aren't they? Okay, but they're all physical Box2D bodies there. So this is quite a powerful little system here, if you don't mind doing a little bit of coding in script every now and then. And I would encourage you to try that, because for a little bit of work you can get a lot of repeatable and reusable scripts. Plus, another nice thing about the way these folders fit together, if we go back here into action menu, I can easily just remove that if I don't want it now. Come back here, it's gone, and remove the hyphen, and it's back in the menu again. So this is quite nice if you have a bunch of scripts that are sort of this, like a package of similar things that you do for similar jobs, or if you want to share your scripts, or if somebody creates one of these packages of scripts here, you might be able to get a folder with some scripts in it like this, and you can just throw it into this action menu folder and it's ready to go straight away, and you can turn them off and on quite easily. So hopefully in future this system will be able to be edited a little bit more conveniently than having to mess around like this with text editors and stuff. But for now, you'll just have to do it the way we did just now. So that's it for this video, and thank you for watching. Bye.